And welcome back to the PD Football Podcast. My name is Presh.
My name is Darren.
And how are you doing today?
I'm good. How's everything on your end? I'm a bit tired from work, but okay.
Yeah, I'm also busy from work. I did not finish the Dune audiobook because...
Not yet.
I finished part 2 and I realized there was a part 3. And I'm like, oh shit.
Damn. So, I guess...
Another 8 hours of audiobook.
It's not bad.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not saying that in a bad way.
How does it compare to the movie so far?
A lot of unnecessary fluff in the book. I'm glad that the director
cut it out.
Yeah, cut it out and streamlined the story. But yeah, and yourself, have you seen anything recently?
No, I haven't really been watching much outside of maybe a little bit of football. Some stand-up comedy. I saw the new Bill Burr special. It was pretty funny. Well, I don't know if it's new, but it's on Disney, so I think it's like a year old or something. But it was funny. I enjoyed it. That's pretty much all I've watched so far. So, I mean, haven't had much time, honestly, on my end. So I think the movie rundowns, the intros, I'll leave that up to you until I can make time in my schedule.
I see. Well, I don't really have anything else to say right now, so let's just get into it. Man City 2, Newcastle 1. And City made one change to the team who beat Fulham 3-0, with Marmoush in for Foden. The graphic before the match said that City were in their usual 4-3-3, but during the game I noticed they were actually in a 4-4-2.
I mean, a lot of teams are kind of out of possession in a 4-4-2 these days, so a lot of the top teams. So.
But it was a very old school left midfielder, right midfielder, 2 sitting midfielders and 2 strikers. A big striker and a small striker.
Yeah, I mean...
It was like the 1980s again.
1990s, old school Arsene Wenger style.
Yeah, it was very odd for a Pep Guardiola team to be doing this, but I was like, all right.
I mean, football is cyclical. Maybe it's like bringing back old ideas, going back to a former time. Traditional number 9s are coming back.
And Eddie Howe made one change to the team that won 6-1 versus Qarabag, with Jacob Ramsey in for Harvey Barnes. Again, the graphics said that Newcastle were in their usual 4-3-3, but during the game they were in more of a 4-1-4-1. Interestingly, with Gordon up top and Voldemort as one of the 10s, and not the other way around, and Tonali as the lone pivot.
I guess Gordon offers you a bit more on the transition than Voldemort, so maybe it makes sense to have him linking and Gordon playing higher up.
Sure, but okay, we'll get to it, but I don't think Voldemort was needed. I think you needed another midfielder for solidity, and
yeah, that would have made sense as well. But I think Eddie Howe was probably thinking of the long ball as well.
Yeah,
I mean, Voldemort is probably the only option they have for that.
That's true. Okay, so in the Carabao Cup games, we saw Newcastle pressing high and aggressively, but their strategy this time was to sit back and play on the counter. Although they lost, I think this was a more effective tactic than the cup games because it conserves energy, but you do need to concentrate and be disciplined.
Yeah, I mean, that was surprising on my end. I mean, it was good. A good sign from Eddie Howe, I guess, if you're a Newcastle fan, because the way they've been pressing in recent weeks was part of the reason I predicted them to get thrashed in my pre-match predictions. But I think they seem to focus more on defense. It shows they can defend a bit. Eddie Howe kind of lives and dies by his high press, so I kind of was expecting Man City to just pick them apart. And I guess they're really good between the boxes, actually, for sitting deep, something they don't do very often. So... I mean, Sandro Tonali, he's probably, when he plays well, he's one of the best midfielders in the league, I'd say. So, I was really impressed with their midfield, more than anything else, in the way they stayed in the game, I guess, because I honestly expected them to get blown away.
Okay, I disagree slightly, because they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that formation change. Tonali was totally outrun in the midfield. He was left alone a lot of times, and Marmoush or Semenyo would just be running straight at him.
I thought he did well to beat the press though quite a few times actually and start a lot of Newcastle's transitions, but I guess I didn't notice how much he was getting overrun.
Well, I don't blame him. I blame Eddie Howe for not realizing and bringing in another midfielder to help him out. it's not, if you being overrun, it's not your fault.
I mean, he's not necessarily the most mobile, or that's not what his games. He's more of an in possession midfielder, in my opinion. I guess his game stands out for what he does in possession.
So this getting outrun in midfield is what actually led to City's first goal. Mamouche gets the ball in midfield and carries it into the final third, and he just lays it off to O'Reilly, who absolutely whacked it in the goal. 1-0 to City. We just watched the highlights. What did you think of that goal?
I mean, Nico O'Reilly, he's looking good. Continues to look good. I guess pushed up now, playing more. I guess closer to the opposition box than when he first broke into the team. So
he was getting played at left back, and now
he's a winger. Yeah, so I'm saying his dynamics. I like him. I don't know, it's a very odd goal for Man City to score. I guess it's still in like kind of the image of the new Man City. It was a goal that you guys would have scored in previous seasons. So
it was a turnover and then very quick.
The counter pressing. It's very much. It's still new to see that from a Guardiola team. Just as soon as they get the ball, the main focus is on attacking the goal directly as opposed to shifting the opponent's structure. But I thought they were very good. I thought they started very well. First 15 minutes, I felt like my prediction was on course to become a reality.
They were totally overrunning Newcastle. I agree with that. But I also thought City's formation shift kind of neutralized the threat of both Haaland and Semenyo. Although they did combine later for a goal, I thought they both had poor games, in general.
Yeah, I think they're similar sorts of players in terms of what they offer as strikers, in my opinion. I think it's usually if you go with the striking two, at least in a 4-4-2 formation, one is a facilitator and one is a finisher. So I think they're both finishers. So it leaves the midfield with extra work to do sometimes.
Well, he wasn't the second. Mamouche was the second. He was on the right wing.
Yeah, I mean, either way,
I just don't think, without space, he couldn't fully operate to his, best ability. That's what I...
Yeah, it's more, I think, a thing of them occupying the same zones and them trying to run off the last man a lot. I think when you have two players who are doing that, theoretically it can be okay for the midfield. It gives them more options if they play through the lines a lot, which Man City are probably the best team in the league at. But at the same time, I think maybe it's just something where they're still picking up on each other's movements, and a lot of times they run into the same space. So, I mean, I think it's something they will get right in time. Obviously, it's Guardiola, and I think Haaland is a very intelligent player, especially with his positioning. So I think, if anything, Haaland's game will benefit Semenyo's more than the opposite way, because I think Semenyo still has a lot to learn in the Man City system. And I think right now his biggest, I guess, addition to Man City would be his end product. It gives them someone outside of Haaland who brings goals, I guess, right now, because they were heavily reliant on him. But if they're a strike partnership, I would see Haaland, even though he's the best finisher in the league, as being more of the facilitator, because I think he's more intelligent than Semenyo, and he can pick up on that from a coaching perspective at least.
He did get an assist this game.
Yeah, it was a good cross as well.
So Newcastle's best opportunities came from set-piece situations. Obviously, if you have guys like Trippier and Tonali who have great delivery, and aerially dominant guys like Dan Burn and Malik Chow, you're always going to have a chance from set-pieces. But this is what actually leads to their goal. A corner is cleared and Lewis Hall takes a long-range shot, which then takes a wicked deflection off of Rodri to go into the goal. 1-1.
Yeah, I mean...
really nothing to be said.
Nothing to be said.
He just took a long shot, it deflected and went in.
Hopeful shot, and he had the luck on his side.
Yeah, but I'm trying to show the patterns in that most of their play came from set pieces, even though...
I thought they did well to hold on to the ball and beat the Man City press quite a few times, but I think when they got to the final third, they were lacking a lot. So.
I agree with that, definitely. For City's second goal, Haaland beats the offside trap and puts in a nice hanging cross, which is nodded home by O'Reilly, who was unmarked in the area. Trippier doing poorly for that, because Trippier really didn't even challenge him at all. Yeah, 2-1 to City.
I mean, yeah, Trippier has always had that problem. Like, in possession, he can be really good. Generally, when he out of possession, he can be a bit of a liability, so... I think the high press, he's one player who's benefited off of it, because I think he formerly would have made most of his mistakes in the opposition half, so the centre halves could cover him. I think having dropped deep, probably now those mistakes would be more like detrimental, I guess. Leaving Nico O'Reilly unmarked in the box is a bit different to when you're pressing up the pitch. So I think perhaps the new formation doesn't suit him. I think he's a very much a player who benefits off of playing with the high press, and he's a confidence player. So I think once he starts making one wrong decision, he can generally tend to have a bad game. I thought Nico O'Reilly was consistently getting the better of him throughout the whole game, almost. A very one-sided battle on Man City's left,
The person I was impressed by was Anthony Gordon. He gave Ruben Diaz a very hard time, and in fact Diaz was hooked at half-time for Kuznetsov because he just couldn't deal with Gordon's pace.
Yeah, Gordon is troubling. I think I don't know if it was last season or the season before, he also had a game where I think him and Isak, they completely just shredded Gabriel and Saliba. So he has that in his locker. If he can make it consistent, I guess he could hit the potential everyone's been speaking of him. He's been spoken about as like one of the bright British players for a long time now, the bright young British players. So I hope he hits his potential. I like the way he plays. He's very direct. He's a bit of a throwback in a lot of ways,
Do you think he makes it into the World Cup team?
Currently, it's hard to say. I think he would make the bench. I can't see a reason, especially because he has pace, It's like, it might come down to him or Marcus Rashford for the...
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's only the two of them that are like really pacey wingers.
If you ask me, I'd still prefer Rashford, but it's like up in the air. I think I just think Rashford's temperament and that he's been in a lot of big moments before, and he's been able to, like, at least in some big games, play well. Even if he's had a bad season, I think he's kind of pulled performances against Real Madrid, performances against when he was at Man United, against us, against Man City. So from an individual standpoint, I would go with Rashford if it comes down to those two. But I still think, knowing Thomas Tuchel, they both will make the squad somehow.
Alright, so in the second half, the team swapped roles in that City sat deep and played on the counter, and it was Newcastle that was poking and prodding, looking for an equalizer. Unfortunately for them, it never really looked like they were going to score. It was actually City who had more clear-cut chances because Newcastle were committing so many men forward. Semenyo alone had 3 chances to kill the game in the second half.
I guess this compliments to Donnarumma again from the second half, pulled off a couple marvellous saves. Nick Pope as well, both goalkeepers were on top form,
So despite their chances, I thought City were poor in the second half. Lots of misplaced passes and careless play. The only player who I think kept their composure was Guehi, and I have to kind of tip my cap to Guehi. Not that I was talking shit about him. All I said was, I'm not sure how he would translate from a back 3 to a back 4, and he's done splendidly.
He seems to have done so.
The last couple of games I've watched him, I thought, wow, this guy, while the other City players have been like all over the place, he's been the one that's,
He's been the rock.
He's been the rock, yes. I totally agree with that. On the other, kind of the flip, not of the same coin, but like on the other hand, a guy I would say that had a very poor game, not poor, just a guy I think that looks awkward all the time is Matheus Nunes. Just the way he gets the ball, his body shape, everything about him, I just think, I don't like this guy.
He makes you feel insecure.
Why insecure?
Not insecure, like if you support Man City, it's like you don't have a sense of security in him being in the team.
Sure, yes, he doesn't fill you with confidence. I agree with that. But again, I don't support City. So if I were looking at City's weak points, I would target Matheus Nunes on there.
Matheus Nunes. Yeah, I think, in fairness to him, he's being moved all over the park, played out of position.
He was an 8 and got shifted into a right back. So it's not his natural position, But
again, I don't think it's a small question of, I guess, Man City signing him as an auxiliary player. Because I don't think he gets into the midfield. He's not good enough to get
I don't think they signed him as an auxiliary player. I think they signed him as an 8. But Pep just found out that
he's not good enough.
He's just not good enough and had to chuck him in somewhere. So he put him at right back, and he's done an alright job. Similar things happening with Reinders, although Reinders is on the bench instead of being played at right back.
Yeah,
Nunes's physicality, I think, is what gives him the
edge.
The edge at starting at right back than say a Reinders.
Yeah, I agree. There's not much else to say. We know Pep has his own way of doing things, and he's usually right. So
the final thing I want to say about this game, because more or less all the action happened in the first half, and it was just kind of boring in the second half. But I will say Bernardo Silva gets a yellow card for tackle. And then less than a minute later, he just runs and jumps into Dan Burn. And Dan Burn falls over.
Bernardo Silva seems like one of those players that he never gets sent off when he's deserved to be sent off a lot of times.
So there was that. He should have gotten a second yellow. And then Cherky kicks the ball away and doesn't get a yellow card. And I thought that was very odd that the two of them didn't get any reprimand. They weren't reprimanded for doing that. I was like,
I mean, that just speaks more to the standard of the refereeing in the Premier League than Man City, true. I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's happened to them, it's happened against them, it's happened to every team and against every team.
Yeah. We were speaking about the other week that they got robbed. I think they were supposed to get a penalty or something like that.
Yeah.
And, but like you said, it comes and goes. It all balances out in the end.
Yeah, I think it's just every team goes through the ups and downs.
So yeah, any final things you want to say about Man City 2, Newcastle 1?
No, I think I've said everything I need to say.
Okay.
I think if you're a Newcastle fan, at least there's more optimism now for the remainder of the season. At least they've shown to some degree that they can hold the defensive structure and at least play out. It's the first game as well, so I mean, if Eddie Howe plans on playing this way going forward, I think they'll finish the season decently.
All right. Moving on to Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1. And since Forest's last Premier League match, Murillo came in for Morato and Igor Jesus came in for Lorenzo Luca. Florian Wirtz was injured in the warm-up, so Curtis Jones was shifted to the 10. Then Gravenberch came in for the injured Wirtz, and Ekatike came in for Chiesa.
What injury did Wirtz pick up?
I don't know. Okay. They just said something happened in the warm-up. In fact, I'm not like an expert on injuries, so it really doesn't matter what happened. I wouldn't know.
No, I just thought it's kind of annoying from a footballing perspective when it's like a player's just getting into form and then they get injured.
But, another note is that Forest played in the Europa qualifier last week Thursday, in between their last match and this match. I
caught glimpses of this game, but you're obviously going to give the rundown on this one.
So Curtis Jones gave the ball away twice in the first 5 minutes, and that kind of sets the tone for the first half. I assumed that Forest would sit deep and play on the counter, but they actually came out and played attacking front foot football. This, coupled with us constantly giving the ball away, made Forest look very dangerous. However, they couldn't take advantage of it. Van Dijk and Konate were absolutely massive in, stopping their attack. So they had brilliant build-up up until that entering the box, and then one of Konate or Van Dijk would just put a stop to it and send them packing.
Well, that's Van Dijk can be a one-man defense. Like I've seen my team be in the position of trying to break him down, and he is, if he's on it, he's comfortably the best defender in the world. So. You can't begrudge Nottingham that. So
Forest were just not linking up in the final third. At halftime, they had 12 attempts to our 2, yet the score was still the same. So the longer
that's a lot of domination. I didn't expect the skills.
But it was like long-range shots that just went into the crowd.
So they were
it wasn't on target.
They got to a point. They couldn't break you down, then they just fired in the shot.
Yes, so it wasn't 12 shots on target. It was just 12 shots.
12 attempts. So
yeah. McAllister, Ekatike and Gravenberch were extremely loose, and their touches were very bad in the middle third. Ekatike dropping back, and then the two of them, where they were.
In general, the theme that I'm picking up from what you're saying is that you guys were losing the ball a lot sloppy, generally.
Yes. Jones was, in fact, so bad that Slot swapped him with Szoboszlai, and Jones went to right back. Szoboszlai came into midfield. And this actually worked.
Best midfielder in the league.
Yeah. I don't know, because he's played the majority of the season at right back. So how would we...
Well, for me, it's between him and Rice. But
you can't make an argument for him being the best midfielder if he played like 70% of the season at right back.
I get your argument. But when he plays in midfield, for me, him and Rice are the best two in the league.
So when he did get into midfield, we got a bit more control, and he was keeping the ball a bit more. So this was still in the first half. At the beginning of the second half, we still, giving the ball away. About 10 minutes into the second half, I don't know what clicks or what happens, but we start to wrestle back some control. And that being said, Forest was still getting chances, even though we had more time on the ball and we were.
Were they beating the press, or what? How were the chances coming?
On the counter, because we were pushed up high.
So then, was your pressing disjointed? Was it easy for them to play through, or were they just playing well?
They were pressing the life out of us. So every time we had the ball, like 2 guys were on us, or 2 guys were on the man.
The physical standard of the Premier League, though, is crazy right now. I feel like even the way, I mean, we'll talk about it later, but the way Burnley pressed Chelsea was ridiculous for a team that's in the relegation zone. But yeah.
The standards are at a good level with the lower teams. It's just the teams at the top are the ones that are struggling at the moment. The commentator said that against Wolves, Nottingham Forest had 35 shots without a goal. And against us at the end of the game, it was 18 shots without a goal. So 53 shots with no goal in the past 2 games. Very poor return.
Very Spursy of them.
Okay, no need for that. No need for that. Well, there's a section where you can talk shit about Spurs. We haven't gotten to that yet. You just can't help yourself. All right. So the next point I want to say is that it's boring to say Salah and Gakpo are shit. It's an automatic ball giveaway, but they're not picking themselves, right? Slot is seeing these guys drop stinker after stinker, and he still plays them. Basically, we're playing with one hand tied behind our backs with 2 players that are just not contributing anything.
That are becoming liabilities.
Not becoming. They've been liabilities for like the past 10 game weeks. And a coach who just cannot see past them.
Maybe Salah finishes the season the way he started the last one and you guys win the Champions League.
That's never been his
forte.
He's showing up in big games. Tell me a game where, show me a semi-final where he scored and show me a final where he scored a non-penalty goal. You can't. I know you would know. I know you were thinking about it, but you can't because, he's very poor in the big games. And when I bring that up, people will be like, what about City? What about Man United? What about Spurs? Blah, blah, blah. That's in the league with very little pressure. In the really big games where you need to, it's crunch time, it's a semi-final of the Champions League. It's maybe an unpopular thing to say, but the only reason we got past Barcelona in the Champions League semi-final was because Salah wasn't playing. And, that's it, because Salah wasn't playing. If it had been Mane injured instead of Salah, we would have lost that game. Facts, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like it just depends. I could agree with that argument, but I still think that it's like you're cutting the margins very fine because there's only probably like a select group of players who consistently perform in those games.
Okay, but what's Salah's reputation? Is he not supposed to be one of those guys?
No, but I'm saying, wouldn't that make it shouldn't necessarily affect. Football is a week-to-week thing. I think if that's the argument we're making, then we could say that Didier Drogba was a better footballer than Thierry Henry.
I think it's both. You have to kind of stat pad against the small teams, but show up against the big teams as well. You don't necessarily have to score a hat-trick, but, impose yourself. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but I think in the league, he has his best performances are against
Burnley.
No, I mean
Man United,
Arsenal. He's very good against
Not Arsenal.
us. I think
his really big scores. It's mainly Man United. Yeah,
but he scored quite a lot against us. I think there
were 5
games in a row.
I just don't think of Arsenal as like happy hunting grounds for Salah in my mind.
And I mean, he's done well against City, Chelsea decently as well, 3 goals. So I'm saying, I think.
But I said this point that it's fine in the league. He can show up in the league. What about the semi-finals?
No, but I'm saying then who would necessarily like?
Mane did.
Yeah, Mane and Firmino, they both showed up. I'm not denying that.
Divock Origi.
I'm saying to get to that position is still important. It's like I feel like the same thing could have been said. Like that's why probably Arsenal didn't win the Champions League, but Henry was able to get us to a certain point to be competitive in everything. But maybe he needed players who could.
One more clutch.
Yeah, like I think when Bergkamp was injured, we didn't really have a clutch player in those days, especially in the biggest moments. So he was like a one-man team in the Champions League for us. So it's like I'm saying, I understand your argument, but at the same time, I think you can't project it onto Salah because his expectation is not something that's necessarily on his own shoulders. Like, I think he came from Chelsea, where he was written off. He went to Roma, built himself up. He was generally good in the league. He's been good in the big fixtures and the small fixtures. Maybe he's struggled in the Champions League, in the semi-finals and the final. But there's a lot of great players who would fall into that bracket.
All right, but what does that have to do with performing against Nottingham Forest on a random Sunday?
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that I don't think...
look, he's had a good career, but time is up.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree with that. I just don't think it was fair to say he's always been a liability when just last year he won you the league.
No, I didn't say anything about the league. All I said was the Champions League. That's all I criticized him with.
I mean, you can't really always win the Champions League either, because even someone like KDB...
We went to 2 finals, right? All I'm judging him is based on those 2 finals. Did he do anything in the semis? Did he do anything in the final? In the opportunities that he's had. That's all I'm comparing it with.
In the first season, though, his first season with you guys, he had a very good... And he was unfortunately injured by Ramos in the final, when he was probably the best player in the world at the time.
That was his second season.
Oh, second season. Whichever...
Yeah.
That was...
I understand he got injured in the final, but I'm just talk about the semi-final then.
Didn't he do... he did well against Roma.
He did.
He did very well against Roma, yeah.
All right, fine. What else?
I'm just saying, like, if you're cutting the margins, I would say Salah goes in the same book as Thierry Henry. So he's still one of the greats of the game. But I can understand it's time to move him on. I felt that about Henry in 06 as well. I felt it was the right time when Barca signed him.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I'm fighting against a cult on Twitter who, the Salah cult, say he's in a small drop of form. It's been months now. How long has it been that he's been a small drop of form? Why are the standards so low for him, where it should be sky high based on wages, past performance, all these things?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, he's a big brand, so I think that, like, the wages, he makes his money back. Like, with those sorts of players, it's always like, oh, okay, you give them the wages, they make you the money back in terms of endorsements.
Well,
and stuff.
since he's not... Okay, yeah, sorry, you were saying?
It's not necessarily a big knock to take, but I can understand, like, he is going to be moved on at the end of the season. Hypothetically, I think if everything clicks, he's probably still, maybe Ekitike, maybe Isak, but for me, he's still the player that can win you guys something in the remainder of the season.
Sure. I would think it's a combination of Szoboszlai and Wirtz. Wirtz,
yes, I agree.
Wirtz finding his creative bag and Szoboszlai just being a man who runs until his legs fall off. Those are the cornerstones of, I guess, Van Dijk and Alisson, but I'm in an attacking sense. I mean the two of them.
As far at least, like, as far as the end product goes, I feel like even if you could rely on Ekitike for goals, I still feel like, he might not do the right things, but all the time. But he still has the ability, probably, when I've watched you guys, he can create 2 or 3 clear-cut chances in a game. Right. In the Champions League, that's enough.
But, okay, so the thing is, Rio Ngamoa comes on with 20 minutes to go, and he just shows us what we've been missing. Did everything he tried come off? No. But is he showing us that, actually trying things is how we... get things done. Why is it that a 17-year-old or however old he is the one that's doing that? It's a damn shame.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think obviously there's things to be handled off the pitch as well. I think, like, a lot of the squad probably has to be moved on, not just Salah and Gakpo. Probably. But
those are the biggest culprits.
Yeah,
if I don't know anything about football and I'm watching those, I would immediately pick them out as the culprits.
Let's be that maybe Slot is banking on the experience right now. He's like trying to see the season out, stay in games, and just hope that maybe even if they're not playing well, they can win you the game.
Yeah, I really don't have anything else to say. I just wanted to say that it's Slot's. I firmly lay the blame at Slot's feet, because Salah is not picking himself. Gakpo is not picking himself. It's Slot that's making these decisions, and these decisions are not working out. So you should try new things. The fact that he's not trying new things is what's worrying. Earlier in the season, we were losing, but he was trying new things, trying ways to, combat what was happening to us. Now he's not trying with the wingers. He's played the same wingers for the past however many games, and it's been a disgrace.
Yeah, I agree. In terms of, I don't think it's good to persist with something that's not working.
Okay. Then, so the second half just kind of follows the same pattern of like them attacking, us attacking. It's not really anything happens, and then McAllister gets a goal ruled out because it hits his arm. And I was kind of fuming at the time. I understand it's the rules that if it hits your arm at any point, even unintentionally, it shouldn't be a goal.
Has to be chalked off.
Has to be chalked off. But I just thought it was very unfortunate because he's like turned around and it hits him on the back and a bit on the arm, and then it goes in. So it's really not his fault, but it is what it is. Then he gets another opportunity at a goal. Now the big talking point that is not talked about is that Ekatike is offside. The big thing everyone is talking about is Van Dijk is offside, Van Dijk is onside, which I agree with. But Ekatike is influencing the play by being involved there, which is, I just really think it's LiVARpool at it again.
I mean, it's the refereeing committee at it again. More than anything, because like we said, it's not. We're probably going to discuss more games where bad refereeing comes into the equation. So it's not a specific team. Like, obviously, if it happens to your team, you can feel there's a bias. You can feel that, like,
it happened to the team that I'm not supporting, and I still feel like they got robbed.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, this is speaking more to the PGMOL more than it's speaking to any specific team or there being a bias to, because.
So you don't think they're keeping City in the title race by not red carding Bernardo, and they're keeping us in the top 4 race by, allowing that goal?
I mean, they could definitely have an agenda-based narrative in terms of, but I wouldn't think that's something that's new. I would say that's something that then has to be addressed, because at different points I felt that, decisions were going against Arsenal last season. And then that's obviously you're like, what is it? You're processing it in the moment. You're processing it as a fan. So it feels like, this happened to me, so this is harsh. And then it's like, now you can see Arsenal has maybe elevated their status a bit and a lot more decisions are going our way. So you could be right, but I think it speaks more to the fact that the PGMOL is a corrupt organization that cares more about platforming their referees as celebrities than anything else.
All right. Anything else to say about this Nottingham Forest Liverpool game?
Not really. I mean, good win for you guys. I still expect you guys to make the top 4. So
it's not going to happen with us playing like the way we played today or yesterday.
I see your argument, but Arsenal have played a lot worse and made the top 4 in the past. So it still is very possible. I think
true.
You're coming from the expectation where you're watching Liverpool be one of the absolute best teams in the world for like the last decade. So naturally watching them play at a level below as a Champions League level team is probably something you're not used to now. But when I watch you guys do remind me of Arsenal and Chelsea in the past. It's a normal form, normal level of performance for a top 4 team,
I'm comparing it to Klopp, so that's an unreal standard to compare to.
Especially in a moment of transition. It's still a long way to go for the Liverpool project in terms of, I think the next upcoming transfer market will dictate the future of the project a lot. And whoever the coach is at the time of that transfer market, I guess.
Alright, well, let's move on to Spurs 1, Arsenal 4. And I assume you're just going to do the majority of the talking. So let me just make 2 quick points and then you can take over. I just thought Spurs' makeshift back 5 was not gelling at all. They played Jed Spence on the left, Van der Ven, Palhinha, Dragusin, and Archie Gray at fullback.
I mean, they're going through, in fairness to them, they're going through one of the craziest injury crises a team could go through. So
that is true. But we have been mentioning how Archie Gray has been messed around and played out of position, and fullback I think should be his final straw. I think he should leave Spurs the way he's been treated.
Yeah, he's not being treated well at all.
Go to like maybe Sunderland or Newcastle and like
somewhere where you'll be respected.
Yes, really, it's what I would have done is played Jed Spence on the right, Van der Ven on the left, and then played Archie Gray as the centre back to dictate play, kind of.
I mean, the only thing maybe I could see from Tottenham's perspective was that it was Tudor's first game, so maybe he was just applying the dynamics that were already there, trying to go with what Thomas Frank already does. It's hard to say because in a lot of ways when I watched Tudor at Juventus, a lot of the same mistakes came up even after one game, so it could be something like if you generally, like, he tends to press you high, and if he sits off, his mid-block is terrible. I think the distances, the players don't know where to go. If he presses high and gets it right, his teams can be really attractive. I think that's maybe what people were assuming he was going to bring to Juventus, coming from Lazio as well. And people were hoping he'd bring to Tottenham now. But I think if I was Archie Gray, honestly, in terms of, I would like some guarantees. I don't think Tottenham's a bad club to be at in terms of right now, at this point of his career. He has...
just hang on. They bought Palhinha this window to play CDM. They have Basuma.
Yeah, but I think Archie Gray in the midfield, he could be like versatile between 8 and 6. I don't think he.
But I'm saying he's not getting that opportunity.
Yeah, so I think the main thing for him would be like he needs some guarantees from Tottenham, like what's going to happen in the off season, who's coming in, what is his future. From Tottenham's perspective, I just don't understand it either. Like, why are you playing potentially one of, like, a player who's been spoken about for a while as like one of the best young players in the country? Why are you playing him at not letting him develop? I guess you're playing him all over the park, you're overplaying him, you're putting physical demands on him that are kind of ridiculous. The only thing I will empathize with Tudor though is that Van der Ven seems very terrible one-on-one. So I think being in a position where he'd have to face a lot of one-on-one duels, maybe he thought that he's just going to get done the whole time, because every time someone came to him in a one-on-one situation, even at centre-back, he was completely getting done, no matter who it was, whether it was Saka, Trossard, Madueke when he came on. I think it was just not really... I don't think Tudor knew much what to do with the team from the first game, but I don't think Van der Ven as a fullback is especially...
Well, he wasn't a fullback. He was left-sided centre-back.
Centre-half. No, I'm saying, like, to what you were saying, I think if I can empathize with Tudor a bit in that I think Archie Gray still reads the game well.
I see.
He's good at intercepting, he's good at tackling, so I don't think Van der Ven is good at that. Maybe that's what he was looking at in terms of that's the option he had with the injury crisis. Yeah,
that's fair.
Okay, you can go. What was the second point you wanted to make?
The second point is just so it was 1-1 at halftime, and I thought it was kind of an uninspiring first half, but then Arsenal really just turned it on and become so aggressive and press high in the second half, and it leads to so many chances. Scoreline aside, they could have just had it could have been like, it was 4, but it could have been anywhere up until like 6, 7, 8. That's
we
how
had enough. I mean,
there were so many chances. Arsenal were actually a little bit wasteful, in fact,
and again,
with the amount of chances they got.
A lot of the dynamics where the chances were created came when Saka was breaking through the centre and Eze was pushed onto the left, which again
is what you want.
That's what I've wanted. I just, like, Eze makes things happen, but maybe it's a thing of like in training, because like you know when you're training, I don't know, like, so for people who've played football, if you're training against someone and you train against them every week, you begin to understand that, okay, if this player improvises a lot, you expect it, so you lay off. And maybe in training, players stand off Eze, and it becomes harder for him to understand the dynamics when he hasn't played in the system for as long as everyone else. But I think for opposition players who don't know him, who don't train with him, the fact that he just does things on the cuff of the moment, that he, like, interprets the game in the moment. He's very much an emotional player, not in a bad way. Like, he goes with the game state, he reads the game state very well. So I think it's something where maybe like Arteta has to sacrifice a bit of control and just understand that this guy on the left is the best, and it frees Saka up a lot through the center. It frees Saka up a lot to be able to crash the box, to be able to focus on shooting and assisting more, because Eze can do more of the build-up play, the dribbling, the linking, you know.
And to be honest with you, the people that have been played at left wing, Martinelli and Trossard, haven't filled me with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, no way. Like, just the I think the 10 or 15 minutes Eze was on the left yesterday was like crazy. I think he might have created 2 or 3 clear-cut chances. I was like, leave him there. But then by the end of the game, he was back through the center. Saka was back on the right. So I think maybe Arteta likes something about the defensive dynamics.
Do you want to get into individual moments, or do you have any other things you want to say about general gameplay?
I mean, the general gameplay, I'd say, was like pretty much dominant from us. Like, I think the only problems I'd have were, again, from our own errors. I think in the first half we gave the ball away a bit sloppily. I think Saliba made a few uncharacteristic errors. Gabriel gave the ball away twice, I think. I was very impressed with Timber, though. I think Timber was probably the most consistent player throughout the game. He kept making the right decisions, kept covering for Gabriel, Saliba as well. So I was very impressed with Timber, and especially for the second goal. I think Timber did something in the game that I think he kind of took the initiative. He kept playing the ball through the center a lot, and then the rest of the team followed his cues. Like you said, by the second half, we were attacking the center of the pitch consistently, and almost every time we had the ball, we were creating a chance. So I want to give a lot of credit to Timber for being able to, like, I don't think it's something that comes naturally to his game. It's something he's been shy to do, but no one else was making the line-breaking passes, and I think he just decided to do it once, decided to do it twice, and then everyone followed suit, and it was flowing a lot smoothly for the rest of the game.
Well, we spoke about this in the last game, that it was Gabriel who took the initiative to do those kinds of passes, and it's good to see that it's Timber, it's the rest of the team, it's not just Gabriel that's doing that. Any other things you want to say before we get into individual moments?
No, I mean, we can go into the individual moments.
So for the first goal, Saka, I think, got lucky because he was like dribbling and it bounced off the guy, and
deflected into his path.
Yes, he puts in a good cross, and Eze just had far too much time on the ball.
Yeah,
he lets it bounces up, and he still gets time to hit it again. The Spurs players were just not ball watching, because like I saw Dragusin make a move, but they were just too slow to react.
Yeah, he miscontrols it, and then he has enough time to finish it comfortably. So it was a good finish in the end, but very, very poor marking from Tottenham.
Yes. For Spurs' goal, Colomani just robs Declan Rice, who was just caught in two minds.
Yeah, the uncharacteristic bad mistake.
Yes, but like I said, do you think it's a confidence thing?
What?
Because like generally Declan Rice would just get the ball and whack it out of there. I think maybe
he
was just caught in two minds, or is that just once-off mistake, or am I reading too much into it?
No, I think they probably, it seemed like they were holding onto the ball more, playing out more. So I think it might have been maybe something that came from the coaches. Like, I don't think Tottenham are particularly in the best form right now. So although it's like our biggest personal game, in the current form, I think you're still coming up against one of the worst teams in the league. So I think in that sense, Arteta was probably telling them, we can use this to practice a bit more, like hold on to possession. So I think Declan Rice was caught into two minds where he would have usually, like you said, sent it straight up. I think now he was trying to like break the press by himself or find the pass to the central areas, which is good. I think it's good. You have to practice in real game situations as well, and you're going to make errors. It's going to happen. I think he had an incredible second half, so he made up for it. It didn't affect his confidence.
And you don't expect Kolo Muani to be, to score.
I mean, it was a good finish.
It was a good finish, yes. Now, I switched over to my little Word document where I make notes while I'm watching the game. And so I didn't see the goal. I just heard the back of the net rifle, like, that sweet sound where it just...
Yeah, everyone knows the sound.
The net, what's it called? Rifling?
Yeah, the ball hitting the net.
Yeah, very nice sound. Then Palhinha left Gyökeres unmarked, and he takes a nice shot. Vicario is just a shot keeper, so he lets it go through, and That's essentially the winning goal at 2-1. I'm very frustrated because I took Gyökeres out of my fantasy team because I just thought he dropped such a stinker against Wolves. I was so furious. And I'm like, this guy, if he dropped such a stinker against the worst team in the league, what is going to do against Spurs? I thought
the second worst team in the league.
I thought it would be a much tighter game, but they just gave him far too much space. I'm skipping the third one for the moment just to also speak about Gyökeres' second goal, the fourth goal. Again, just far too much space. He cuts in,
Trossard plays him in.
Yeah, he gets played in and then he shoots. Again, keeper could have done better. Scores his second. The third goal, nice interplay between Eze and Saka.
I think Saka
again
past one, then gets a bit lucky.
Again, they got lucky because it was a fortunate bounce, but Eze makes the best out of the situation and scores again. Apparently, games against Spurs are the only games where he turns up because because I've been looking at his stats, right? It's like nothing. 3 goals against Spurs, nothing. 2 goals against Spurs, nothing.
But to be honest, he's also like being moved around a lot, played right, played left, played centrally.
We have been discussing that Arteta hasn't given him enough opportunities.
I really hope he saw that this guy belongs on the left in that game, and Saka belongs in the center. Them together, I think they can we can finish the season very strongly with those dynamics.
Alright, is there anything else you want to say about this game before we turn the page?
I mean, just from a Tottenham perspective, like, I don't want to bash them or anything too much, but it is looking like they're getting dragged into the relegation battle, so I think they have to get like some things right there. I mean, 5 points, teams have been pulled down from 5 points at this stage before. Like, I think West Ham and Nottingham Forest look like they're capable of going on a decent run right now, and Tottenham are looking completely off it. So just a bit worried for Tottenham, like I don't want them to go down, honestly. Like, I would like the rivalry to be there. I'm sure you wouldn't like Everton to get relegated. Maybe you would.
We've spoken about it. Yeah, I definitely don't want Everton relegated.
So
like, we need somebody to dunk on. So, yeah.
So, I mean, I hope in that sense, they can figure it out and get it right, because I think in the last, at least since the turn of the year, between them and Wolves, it's a toss-up for who's been the worst team in the league.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now that we're done with that, we can move on to the miscellaneous, which is all the other games of the week. Aston Villa 1, Leeds 1. So Anton Stack scores a wonderful free kick, catching the keeper out on the near side. You saw that?
Free kick, yeah.
Yeah, nothing really to say about it. It was just very good free kick.
Sensational goal, yeah.
Then Tammy Abrams scores the ball comes in and Ezri Konsa gets a header. From the second ball, Tammy Abrams scores, a very good header. I was talking shit about him when Villa signed him. He's now scored in the FA Cup and the league. So, egg on my face. Leeds had more clear-cut chances and were unlucky to only get a draw.
Leeds are looking good, though. They're playing well against everyone.
Very good. I wanted to mention this in a previous episode, but what has changed with Daniel Farke's defense? Because we know he's always been a good attacking coach. It's just I'm associating him with Norwich's very poor defense, very naive defense, and then he comes here with Leeds. I'm not saying Leeds have the best defense. They conceded 4 to Arsenal, right? Yeah, so they're not like super amazing, but like they were very tight. They were.
Yeah, I think he's begun to incorporate a mid block in, which is something he didn't use before. I think also at a championship level, sometimes we've seen this before, maybe like with Maresca as well, where at Leicester he was able to just press high the whole game, and as long as you have the metrics, like the coaching metrics where you're comfortably ahead of I guess everyone else in a coaching perspective, you can consistently apply the high press and win every game. But it's hard to come out of that mindset into like, oh, I'm now in a league where we're going to be the underdogs in almost every game. So you have to incorporate some of a mid-block. Like, I think when he came in with Norwich, it was pretty evident that they were going to get relegated from the first 2 or 3 months, even though they started, I think, with like 3 wins in a row. The minute they lost, they got thrashed, and then you knew that, okay, this high press, it's not going to work in the Premier League, not with these players, not with this level of physicality. And I think he's brushed up on that, and shows the experience of coaching. Like,
Yeah, well, it just goes to show he's a good coach, because a good coach learns from what's happened before and tries to combat that. Maybe they're not necessarily successful.
A similar problem to the guy who was at Southampton, Hasenhüttl. He was very good in Germany, came here, struggled. Maybe he comes back and does well. Who knows?
All right. Next is Brentford 0, Brighton 2. First of all, I'm going to give some kudos to James Milner for breaking the appearance record.
Big achievement.
Yeah, big achievement. That being said, the number of minutes, he's played like 14,000 less minutes than Gareth Barry. So he's
been a sub.
He's been coming on as a sub for like 5 minutes, that kind of thing. Gareth Barry played until like his legs fell off. he was really in the game, right? And like the fact that the both of them ahead of Ryan Giggs, who I felt like he played forever.
Yeah, like that's Man United propaganda at work.
Yeah. Anyway, Kadioglu, the left back, had a great shot. It comes off the bar and Diogo Gomez scores the rebound. Nothing to be said there. Then the Brentford defender makes a mess of the clearance and Welbeck has a tap in. From the highlights, it looked like a balanced game. It's a shame Brentford didn't even score given the opportunities that they had.
Yeah, I mean, again, I rate Herzl very highly. Like, I think that's one of the most difficult grounds to go to. I didn't watch the game, but he seems to have the thing of like being good in the big games. Like, he was good against Arsenal. I think he's turned over Chelsea a couple times. So I know you don't rate him, but I think that's like Brentford is one of the most difficult places to go, and it's usually the coaching that wins you that game. So I hope he gets it right. I like him a lot.
Okay. Then we have Chelsea 1, Burnley 1. I don't know who played the ball, but it was an exquisite ball through the lines to play in Neto. Caicedo, yes. He plays in Neto, who squared it to João Pedro, who scored a tap-in, although it was more of a slide-in, because he slides in and tackles the goalkeeper somewhat. And Then Wesley Fofana is sent off for an awful challenge. He actually gets a second yellow, which turned into a red, but I really thought that
it should have been a straight red
because it was so blatant and deliberate. It was a very poor challenge. And Burnley score with more or less the last kick of the game from a James Ward-Prowse corner. Like I was saying with Newcastle, you have Trippier and Tonali with great delivery. Ward-Prowse is one of the greatest deliverers in the
league.
Maybe the history of the league. Even he's really that good at delivering a free kick.
Yeah, I mean, dead ball. That's his forte, right?
And then Zion Fleming headers home from that corner.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was surprised with just. I guess if this game showed anything, even before Chelsea went down to 10 men, I think it was so evenly contested that it was like I mean, obviously you would expect Chelsea to have the better of it in terms of chances, but the way Burnley pressed them, the way Burnley kept forcing errors from Chelsea, forcing errors from the centre half, from someone like Caicedo, he made the brilliant pass, but they forced a lot of errors on him, and he's probably one of the best midfielders in the world. So, I mean, the standard of coaching in the Premier League, the physicality, I think that's something that the athleticism required is always something that stands out, and I was really impressed with Burnley for a team in the relegation zone,
West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0. Perhaps the most shocking game of the weekend. We had two very chaotic teams that couldn't lower blow on each other. That being said, both teams had chances. They just couldn't finish. It was just a question of being clinical, and both of them failed the question.
No, not much to add there for me. I think I wish the best for Bournemouth because I like Iraola, but that's all I can say about that. I don't think he stays there beyond the season. So,
and I wish the best to West Ham for Jared Bowen. Top lad. Love him so much. Palace 1, Wolves 0. So Wolves got a penalty and Arokodare misses it. Not misses it, it gets saved by Dean Henderson. It was really poor penalty, so they kind of deserve it.
Not much to say. I mean, Wolves are gone anyway, so I guess they just vibes till the end of the season,
Hopefully they derailed Arteta's title charge, and that's what we'll remember of them.
Yeah, that we'll see. I don't think so. I'm still pretty sure we'll get over the line comfortably. So
So
time will tell.
Krejci gets a second yellow for kicking the ball away, which now, if Cherky didn't get a yellow for it, why did Krejci get a yellow card for it, you know? We're talking about the standards of refereeing. That's a clear-cut
And
example.
Archie Gray also got booked against us for kicking the ball away when Colomani scored.
Oh, I didn't see that. But,
Yeah.
okay. I'm just trying to point out that the standards of refereeing is not the same throughout the league, and it's a shame. Evan Gesson taps in a low cross and Palace win 1-0. We are talking about whether he'll be a good signing for Palace based on...
The early signs.
No, not just what I've seen on the pitch. From Palace forums, you know, just seeing what Palace fans have to say, they're really impressed by him. And
I mean, I guess with Crystal Palace, it's like... It's an awkward situation for them. It's just like, get to the end of the season and see where we are, you know. Because I think obviously they can't really build around the coach, so they'll know where they are next season. I don't think they're going to get relegated. I think probably going to have a lot of games like that this season where they peter out 1-0, not really much to play for. I think yeah, let's just I think from their perspective, they have to judge players based on how they come in, but I guess we'll only know how he'll fit into Crystal Palace when we know what the future of their coaching is going to be, because then we'll see if he adapts or fits into the ideology, you know.
Well, he's just on loan, so I don't know if he'll be there.
Beyond the season.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm unsure about that. Or it might have been like a 2-year loan. I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
We'll see.
Next is Sunderland 1, Fulham 3. This was another really shocking
game.
Because Sunderland have been so good at the Stadium of
They
Light.
have the second best home record in the league, so
just their defense especially has been quite resolute. So watching them, okay, let's just get into the goals, right? Jimenez scores from a corner and he was totally unmarked. He was just left. How do you leave the opposing centre forward unmarked in your box from a corner? That's just negligence. Not what I would have expected from Raji Labrie, who's been so good at defensive work. Then Brian Brobby brings down somebody in the area. I don't know who it was. I just watched the highlights, so it was just a bit of a blur. Jimenez scores the penalty. I'm not a fan of his run up of
jumping.
Yeah, jumping and being herky jerky and then shooting. I feel like it should be in one motion. As soon as you start moving, you can't.
The Bruno Fernandes.
Yes, the Bruno Fernandes. You shouldn't be able to stop at all.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does put an unfair advantage in the hands of the attacker, you know.
Yes, it's. I don't like it at all.
Because then, by that, if they're going to allow that, in my opinion, then they should allow the keeper to step off the line.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then Enzo Lefebvre also scores a penalty for Sunderland now. Somebody just got brought down in the box. Nothing to say. And then for the last thing, Iwobi scores on the counter. Very good goal from the left-hand side. Gets it across the keeper and 3-1.
I'm happy for Alex Iwobi.
Oh yeah, that's it.
That's pretty much it. I mean, a surprise result, but I think both those teams, again, I think I'd put them in the same boat as Crystal Palace. They don't just seeing the season out for them, you know. I think players also have the World Cup in their mind, so we're going to get a lot of chaotic games, I think, till the end of the season.
Do you have anything else you want to say about this game or just any other game before we wrap up?
Nothing that comes to mind specifically. I mean, again, just a player that impressed me with his movement. I say it all the time, but it's João Pedro. I think Chelsea didn't find him enough. He made a lot of good runs. I think Chelsea's midfield, again, needs to be more again, Caicedo made an exceptional pass. I think he has the range. He needs to be more, I guess, assured in his decision making. If he uses that range better, I think Chelsea can come on a lot of levels and probably very soon be challenging for a title, especially with Enzo, Caicedo and João Pedro. I think those three players can get into any team in the league almost.
Alright, well, thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, give a like, etc. Importantly, it needs to be a 5-star review. You can find all our links at pdfootball.com. That's the letter P, the letter D, football.com. Please tell a friend, tell that friend to tell a friend, tell a family member. Yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.